Hello and welcome to the show. Coming up later, well, we're not just sure yet. As you may know, the world is in a state of emergency. Things aren't good. I mean, here we are, we're at our usual posse, which is Biden Bistro in the Cradle. And even on weekdays like today, it's normally full of cyclists and people and all sorts, but well, there's no one here. I mean, the world is in a state of panic at the moment. It's not the greatest place to be right now. In fact, it'd be good to be able to get off it. And to do that, you need something capable of interstellar travel. You need something like a rocket. And today, I just happen to have a rocket.
More accurately, it is the Triumph rocket. To date, the most badass motorcycle ever to leave a factory floor.
Now, according to researchers, there are three main reasons people buy motorcycles. Number one is the brand. Now, every single brand out there gets a certain amount of bashing. I mean, if I say I ride a Ducati, someone's going to say, or BMW, Honda, Kawasaki, every single one of them get a bashing. Except Triumph. For some reason, they remain innocuous. I mean, you say to anybody, hey, I ride a Triumph, they all kind of go, well, all right. The second reason people buy motorcycles is looks. Now, I look at this thing and I just see like hulkish, juggernaut manliness. I'm telling you, out of those exhausts comes nothing but pure testosterone. And that's from afar. Look closely. Look at the minor details. Every bit of this motorcycle is beautifully crafted. And none of this over here is cheap little tinsy plastic. It is all high quality goods. This thing looks fantastic. It's a new theme of Triumph. It's maybe doing it with all their current models. It is amazing. That's reason one and two. The third reason is the ride. Wow! Holy cow! You open the throttle, it just blows up, explodes like a rocket.
This explosive nature makes sense. It is driven by a 3-cylinder motor that has near as damn it 2,500 cc's, the biggest capacity motor ever fitted to a production motorcycle. As you can imagine, that has a profound effect. 165 horsepower, 11% up on its predecessor. But more so than this, it makes a mammoth 221 newton meters of torque.
It's 221 newton meters of torque, which seems to happen the moment you open the throttle at like 1,500 RPM, and seems to stay there all the way to the 7,000 red line. But I mean, it's incredible. It doesn't matter which gear you're in. Be in any gear you like, open the throttle. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's good. Let's go forward. I used to say with the last rocketry that when you open the throttle, you didn't move forward. The Earth turned under you. With this one, not only does the Earth turn, it's also being shifted out of orbit. I mean, the climate clan tell us that the Earth is getting more and more warm. It's heating up at an increasing rate. I think that's because somebody at the factory tested one of these, and now the Earth is heading to the sun. We can cure that by pointing the bike the other way and head it the other direction. Then we'll end up near Pluto somewhere.
Obviously, they couldn't fit all that brutishness into some simple scaffolding, so they developed an entirely new chassis. The brakes are the latest from Brembo, the suspension is the latest from Shower, and it has all the latest electricity standard, bar a quick shifter that's an option. And they need all this because that motor is moving a motorcycle that has a dry weight of 292 kilograms. That might sound like a lot, but it is 40 kilograms less than its predecessor.
40 kilograms. Now just think about 40 kilograms. That is 20 2-liter Coke bottles. Imagine strapping 20 2-liter Coke bottles to your motorcycle. That is the weight they saved. It's incredible. And in fact, they saved even more than that, because remember, this is Euro 5 compliant. Well, engineers have told me that Euro 5, in order to comply with Euro 5, everything that is required is roughly 40 kilograms. You add 40 kilograms to a big motorcycle to comply with Euro 5. So not only have they saved 40 kilograms, but they've saved another 40 with Euro 4. They've saved 80 kilograms. How did they do that? I don't know. And you can feel the difference. I mean, this bike weighs close on 300 kilograms, which is dry, which is still a lot. But they did that magical thing where you don't feel it. It sort of swoops into corners in sort of a graceful style instead of having to be heaved like the last one is. And it's nice, it really is smooth. I mean, the last one felt like it had a hinge in the middle. This one, it feels alright. I mean, it's quite rewarding coming out of corners on this thing. You feel like you've really accomplished something, not had to fight for your life. Also, bikes like this, sort of low slung to look good with the big back wheel, that 240 rear, and normally they kind of give you, yeah, it's got suspension, a whole 2 millimeters of travel, and the slightest irregularity on the road is going to mean you break your back. Whereas somehow they've got away with it on this. I mean, it's smoother than most sort of naked bikes, super bikes. I could sit here all day.
That comfort is increased by this being the GT version of the Rocket. With adjustable ergonomics, a little screen, heated grips as standard, a pillion backrest, and those fantastic dark colors.
So yeah, the GT version, I mean, it's got the pansy plastic in the front there, adds a bit of wind protection. You still get a bit of a breeze. It's hell of a breezy, but not too bad. They've put all the wiring inside the handlebars. It just looks so much more beautiful. It's got heated grips standard, but we're in the beginning of autumn in South Africa. You don't need them right now, but you know, I'll act more manly, but when we get to winter, I'm going to be quite happy to have them. The only thing on this bike right now that is not standard are those soft panniers. They're a 17,000 Rand extra. You know, if you're going to do some space travel, you want to take stuff with you.
And that leads us to the price of the Rocket 3. Now remember, big, huge cruiser, the largest motor on any motorcycle, the most torque. The R model goes for 299,000 Rand. This, without the panniers, 315. That's really not a bad price for all this. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm leaving the planet.
Right, before I quiz Donovan about his space exploration, time enough just to say that we are at Biker's Warehouse, and you will find out why later in this programme. Don?
Hello.
I didn't have you figured for an astronaut.
Yeah, it was good fun, I'm going to say that much. the problem is okay, the space-time travel thing is that if you go fast enough, sort of time stands still. So I thought I was gone for years, came back and it was still, I still got all this corona rubbish to go through.
Don, so quick he goes back in time.
I met myself, I didn't like it.
The Rocket, what you did meet is the Rocket.
Yes.
And it was lovely, obviously, from
Yes.
your test, it was lovely.
Yeah.
Was it everything you expected, though?
No.
Okay,
No.
why?
No. Okay, because you look at it, you go 2.5 litre engine, or nearest damn it, 2.5 litre engine, and you're sort of thinking, wow, you know, I've ridden the XDR, you've ridden all these sort of other more V-twin things, that thing must be mega. And it is, but kind of it's sort of different, because like an XDR, for example, that V-twin kind of slaps you, you know, you open the throttle, it slaps you. This doesn't slap you, it sort of hits you like a wave, but like an unstoppable wave, it kind of takes you.
I think half the problem is that the bike is kind of battling its own hype, in that we all expect it to be this mad 2.5 litre million torques, it's brutal and it's hooligan, and I rode it as well, and it's not, is it really?
No, it is actually quite gentlemanly.
Hugely
It
sophisticated.
is. I mean, it's sophisticated. The way it feels when you sit on it is very comfortable. The way it handles, the way it looks, the way it is very gentlemanly. I mean, it's sort of like a big giant almost.
Yes.
But what I will say is, I mean, I rode it and I kind of thought this is not really. It did explode, but I mean, I kind of really thought. I mean, I thought lava was going to come out and all kinds of stuff. But then after that, I got on your bike, which is an S1000R. Opened the throttle and sort of thought, hang on, where's everything? You know what I mean? So no, it's sort of deceptive, you know. So when I say it explodes, it does, but in like a very gentlemanly explosion.
It's a turbine. I must admit, I got on it, and the motor is wonderful. It's incredibly smooth. It sounds fantastic, especially through the airbox. But what I did notice, giving it a bit of a blast, is that huge expected bulging mid-range.
Yeah.
It's sort of there, but the fun to be had is you actually rev it to the red line.
But as I said, it doesn't. I mean, X Diavel, that V-twin, you open
it goes bang, and you're away. Yeah.
But this kind of goes
just turbine. Yeah, like a
it's sort of.
But what did impress me more than the engine was the handling, which was really easy and light for something so big. The brakes were phenomenal.
I know.
The build quality is amazing and it's gorgeous.
You know what? You kind of look at how big it is, especially the last one. I mean, I think we all knew that thing.
Yes.
You didn't turn. You stopped and it kind of slowed. You know. But with this, it's sort of, even though I mean, wet weight is more than 300 kilograms, which is a lot.
I don't feel that.
It doesn't feel it. I mean, it's actually quite rewarding. You're going through corners in what is essentially a truck, you know what I mean? And you're kind of going, I'm doing this, you know?
I'm doing it easily, so I think in a way it's a victim of its own hype. I still found it a hugely impressive bike. I think as you did,
loved it, yeah.
Price, I mean, you have mentioned it. I don't think it's bad, actually.
It's really, really not bad.
No, not at all.
I mean, there was a Harley Davidson FXDR for 320.
No contest. I mean, it's
no,
not,
I wouldn't even like think twice.
No.
It's that's really good, actually.
So we waited a long time for the Rocket. It wasn't exactly what we thought it would be, but it's still brilliant. Would you agree?
But just in sort of a slightly different way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like meeting a sort of pro WWF wrestler, and he goes, "How do you do?"
Yes, and he's wearing a suit, and
exactly,
sophisticated. It's a sophisticated brute.
Yes.
And I think we'll leave it there.